So hello guys. Today will be my 18th day of learning Roblox game development. So what I'm doing today is Sunday and I cannot really learn for long. I can only learn for 1 hour because I need to go to the church. And I decide that I will learn for minimum of 8 hours a day starting from tomorrow. So tomorrow is Monday, so it's starting from next week. Because I want to up my skill like crazily. I really want to become good. I want to become a god at scripting. But the thing is, I realized that if you guys want to start like trying to get into this kind of work, like you really need to join a community because I find a really great person there and it really helps me like know like what's around here. And if you are like an introvert or something, you just need to like really think like is it worth it becoming no, I'm not getting there, okay? But just know this, that joining a community is really good, like hearing them talk, looking at what people are doing and seeing things by yourself. And you can also look like how much are you already, like how much are you improving already. Like, I'm sorry, my English is kind of bad because I'm still not used to it, but I'm sure that one day I can talk like freely because right now my brain is kind of foggy when talking in English. I cannot really speak up much. But just join a community, guys, and don't forget to like study hard. So that's what I'm gonna do. So today, let's continue with this. I'm gonna continue to game passes. I think this one is really important. So after I finish this, I gotta go. Okay. So this will be only a one episode learning. But tomorrow I'll do 8 hours. Like, mark my words, guys. Mark my word. From tomorrow, like I want to become really good. And the thing is, hard thing. A hard thing is like nothing is hard. Like a hard thing is simply you need to just spend more time to what you're doing. So if it is hard, then you just need to spend more time. So it will become easy. When people say that it's easy because they already spent a lot of time for it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spend a lot of time and see how much I can improve in the next 2 weeks probably. So without further ado, let's start learning. Hmm.
Thanks for stopping by.
Oh wait, wrong episode.
Bro, who does this guy think he is trying to creep up on me? Oh my, wait, dude, I'm trying to get away from this guy, but it's not working. Bro, he keeps following me. What the heck is going on right now? Dude, I need to get rid of this guy somehow. Because, oh my god, he's not gonna leave me alone. I noticed that as I was looking at this creep, I see this thing down here that says click me if you're mad. What does this thing actually do? Oh, would you like to buy ban creep? For 10 Robux, that's not a bad idea to get rid of this guy. All right, let's see if I can do that. All right, purchase has been successful. Oh, yeah, got rid of him, thank god. Wait, what? He's back? What? Pay to win is a lie? Remember that. Oh my god, are you serious right now? Bro. Alright, let's think about this for a minute. Unfortunately, I just can't seem to get rid of this guy. This guy's just gonna have to stick with me this whole time, I guess. But anyways, what ended up happening was I saw this button down here that said click me if you're mad, and when I did click on it, Roblox prompted this little GUI that I did not create. And this basically asks me would I like to buy this item, also known as ban creep, for 10 Robux. And for whatever reason, if you're not familiar with Robux, it's essentially Roblox's universal currency that's used across the entire platform that can be used to buy these sorts of things. This is essentially called a game pass, and what this does is when you buy a game pass, like right now, you buy a game pass, and what ends up happening is that the server does something to show that you have now bought this game pass. So this game pass can pretty much be getting access to a specific area in the game. It can also just be getting some sort of privileged advantage over other players. Not too big of an advantage, but somewhat of a one-step level advantage from other players. And the thing about game passes is that it's a one-time purchase. So if you buy a game pass, then you don't have to buy it ever again if it's on the same account. So let's say I did decide to buy this game pass that says, would you like to buy Ignore? I'm going to buy this for 1 Robux. The purchase has been successful. And then what should happen in the game is that I'm given this Minecraft diamond sword. Don't ask me why, but that's basically what ends up happening. And since I bought it, I don't have to buy it ever again. If I reset my character, then what ends up happening is that the game will check if I own this game pass, and it will just give me the sword again once I refresh into the game. So I ended up getting the sword again in my backpack because the game checked if I had this game pass now that I did buy it. And that is basically one way of using game passes. It's a way for you to get specialized privileges within a Roblox game
Game passes, right?
that you only have to buy one time. And that's what I'm going to be showing you how to do in this episode, which is creating a game pass, implementing it, and keeping track of our players' purchase history using data stores at the end of this video. So with that being said, let's get straight into implementing game passes inside Roblox Studio. Oh my god, no way! This diamond sword actually killed the creep! Oh my god, this is incredible. Okay, but anyways, let's get straight into implementing now. Now that we understand it, let's add game passes into our game. But before we do, we need to make sure that our game is published. So if you're
Okay, need to make sure my game is published. This again. I'm gonna do the day 17 one, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna do it here because why not?
You're in a local file right now, I want you to go on the top left, hit file, and then hit publish to Roblox as, and you can basically publish this to any game that you choose. My game is already published, so I don't need to do that, but just make sure you do that first before we move on to implementing game passes. But now that we've gotten that taken care of, let's actually create a game pass. And you might ask, where do we create this game pass? Because if you remember from our badges, all we have to do is just go to home, go to game settings, and then go to monetization. But if we come over here, we see that there's no game passes. So where the heck do we create these game passes? We're gonna have to go to the Roblox website in the creator hub to create our game passes on our creator page. So that's where we're about to be headed, and I'm gonna meet you there. All right, so we're in the home page of Roblox. In order to access our game passes, we need to go to our creator hub by clicking on this button on the top that says create. This will bring up our creator dashboard. And so let's look for our game that we've just published. In this case, for my game, it's called Data Store Test 1. So we're just going to click on the name of it. So this will bring up the entire overview. This will bring up the entire creator dashboard of this game. So what we want to do is go on the left side, go down to monetization, and then click on passes. This should give us a list of all of our game passes that are within the game currently. Just ignore these two that are here right now. But this should be blank for you if you created a new game. So in order to create a game pass, we need to click this button that says create a pass, and then it'll bring up a page where we can give the name of our game pass. We can change the image of it, but Roblox will give us an image by default. So we don't have to worry too much about that. And you can also add a description. The only field that's required is the name. So let's just do that really quick. We're going to call this game pass test 1 just to keep it simple. And then we're going to hit create pass. So once we've created the pass, it should be noted right here. But the thing is that we've created the pass, but there's no way for us to actually buy it. So what we have to do is click on this, and then there should be a section here that says sales. And so there's no way for us to actually buy it. So what we have to do is click on this, and then there should be a section here that says sales. And so now what we can do is turn on item for sale, and we can put whatever price we want in here for the player to purchase. The thing about the Robux amount is that the creator gets 70% of however much the price of this Game Pass is. So if, let's say, I priced it at 100 Robux, then the creator gets 70 Robux out of that 100 Robux. So you can price this to be whatever you want. I can just price it to be 100 just to keep it simple.
Hmm. Okay, that's cool.
So we'll hit save changes. All right, and we have now done that. But here's another thing. If we create a Game Pass, then we should automatically have this in our inventory. So we
Adjust price based on the user's country or region, ensuring they never exceed your default price or go below 30% of it. Hmm.
don't need to buy this Game Pass within the game. But for testing purposes, we might want to try and buy this Game Pass. So we need to get rid of this Game Pass from our inventory temporarily so that we can buy it in studio to test it. Okay, so I'm back on the Roblox page. We're gonna go to inventory, and then what we're gonna do is go to
Wait, what? Wait.
so we
Chill.
don't need to buy this Game Pass within the game. But for testing purposes, we might want Robux out of that 100 Robux. So you can price this to be whatever you want. I can just price it to be 100 just to keep it simple. So we'll hit save changes. All right, and we have now done that. But here's another thing. If we create a Game Pass, then we should automatically have this in our inventory. So we don't need to buy this Game Pass within the game. But for testing purposes, we might want to try and buy this Game Pass. So we need to get rid of this Game Pass from our inventory temporarily so that we can buy it in studio to test it. Okay, so I'm back on the Roblox page. We're gonna go to inventory.
Well, it's my turn. There is a lot of N in my table right now, and I don't know where it came from, and I'm afraid that it will enter my ear. It's really scary, you know. Where is my inventory, man? Inventory. So sorry guys, you guys cannot see this screen, but I am on the creator hub right now. I wanna see my inventory. I don't know where it is. Creations. Is it like finance? Wait, what?
And so we need to get rid of this game pass from our inventory temporarily so that we can buy it in studio to test it. Okay, so I'm back on the Roblox page. We're gonna go to inventory and pass. So we need to get rid of this game pass from our inventory temporarily so that we can buy it in studio to test it. Okay, so I'm back on the
Oh, can I like open Roblox player? Is it like there? Oh yeah, yeah, it's there. Inventory.
Roblox page. We're gonna go to inventory, and then what we're gonna do is go to passes down here.
Passes.
And you should be able to find the pass that you just created, test one, and let's click on this. So what we're gonna do is go on the top right, we're going to hit delete from inventory. So once we do this, then we should be able to test by this in Roblox Studio. We also wanna make sure we have the asset ID of this game pass saved. So
Experience. Then need to go to monetization. Passes. This passes. I need to pass ID. I see. Okay.
so I'm going to click this button and click on copy asset ID. So now this should be on our clipboard so that we can add this game pass into our Roblox game. Okay, we have our initial setup done. Now let's get to scripting this game pass. So what we're gonna do is make a script in server script service really quick. So we're just gonna do this. We're going to delete these lines here. Okay, so in order to manage anything related to game passes, we need to use a special service for this. Now, there are two services within the Roblox developer realm that people do get confused over. So there's this service called Game Pass service, and there's another service called Marketplace service. So you might ask, which one of these two services do we use? Since both of them sound like they could work with
Service. Marketplace service.
handling game passes. I'm gonna say this right now. You should not use Game Pass service because not only is it a deprecated feature, but also Marketplace service has everything that Game Pass service does.
Okay. Don't use Game Pass service.
But in a more modern and safe way. So this is what Game Pass service would look like. So we would say local Game Pass service equals game::get service Game Pass service. So we do not want to use this. In the past, I have used Game Pass service, and this has now been superseded by Marketplace service. So this is what it's going to look like. Instead of Game Pass service, we're going to say Marketplace service, and we're basically going to do the same thing here with Marketplace service. All right. So now that we know to use Marketplace service, let's also make our Game Pass ID. So we're going to say local Game Pass ID equals, and then we're going to paste our ID for the Game Pass we just created. So it should look something like this. This script is going to be used to check whether the player has a current Game Pass or not. But for right now, what we're interested in is prompting the user to buy the Game Pass. And the way we do this is actually by using a local script instead of a script, because we want to be able to display it on the player screen for them to be able to click it and then send it over to the server. So we're also going to create a local script, probably in starter character scripts, just to test this out. So
Wait. What is the difference between starter character and player script, Grant? Character is the body, and then player is the brain, right? I think I asked that before. Right. Character script. Starter. Character scripts and starter player scripts. Starter character scripts. This container is used for code that is character specific. The content of this folder are cloned into player character model, which is inside the workspace. The script are cloned and run every time the player character spawn or respawn. Yeah, the character is from when the character like spawn or respawn. So every time it will always run. The script do not persist when the character dies. Script type can typically contain both local scripts and scripts. Mhm. Use case ideal for code that needs to reference the physical character model directly and restart when the character respawns. Examples include setting a character initial walk speed or jump height or custom character physics. You can replace default character scripts like animate, sound, or hold by placing a script with the XXM name into this folder. With what? You can replace default character scripts like animate, sound, or hold. Okay, placing the starter player script. The container is used for code that player specific that need to run continuously regardless of character death. Hmm, which is inside the player surface. The scripts are cron and run only once when the player first joins the game, and script persists even when the player dies and respawns. Should primarily contain local scripts. Yeah, that's true. Because on starter player, it's local script. It's the client side it or server. Server script placed here will generally not run because the player scripts folder is not replicated to the server. Ideal for persistent client-side logic. Example including handling player input, okay, managing the user interface, yeah, and running service that should not restart on that, yes. You can replace the default camera script, and character movement script by placing local script with the same name into this folder. Default camera script and character. Oh, so by default there is a camera script inside the, but I just cannot see it, probably. Okay, so I make it into the character. Why?
We're going to hit the plus sign, include a local script, and we're basically just
Mm. I think it should be here, player script, not the character script, right?
going to copy the same code that we had here. So we're going to copy this and then delete this, paste it into here. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is get our local player. We're just going to say local player equals game.players.local player. So now let's prompt the player to buy the Game Pass. What we're going to do is simply just say marketplace service colon prompt Game Pass purchase, and this takes into argument.
From Game Pass service.
The first one is going to be the player instance. Now this is another thing people get tripped up about is whether they should pass in the player object itself or the player's user ID. We're just going to be passing in the player, which is our local player since we're using a local script. And so now the second argument is going to be the game elements. The first one is going to be the player instance. Now this is another thing people get tripped up about is whether they should pass in the player object itself or the player's user ID. We're just going to be passing in the player, which is our local player since we're using a local script. And so now the second argument is going to be the Game Pass ID, which is going to be right here.
From Game Pass service. Okay. Okay.
Contained in this variable called Game Pass ID. So we're just going to pass in Game Pass ID. So this is essentially how you prompt a Game Pass purchase to the player. If we go into the game, hit test and hit play, then we should be able to see that as soon as we go into the game, Roblox should send us a prompt to buy the Game Pass that we just created. All right. So it says, would you like
Oh, that's cool. Let's see. Let's see. Uh, wait. I'll disable this first. Okay. Disable this animate. Disable this rig. Huh. Should I like put it on starter character script? What? Wait. Why doesn't it load when I put in the starter player script, man? Hmm.
Like to buy test one for
Hmm. The reason game pass from show up in starter character script but not in starter player script is due to timing and readiness of player object. When a local script run in Roblox, it realizes object fully set up. Starter player script. Script here run once when the player first join the game. When a script runs on the client, when the script starter player scripts run immediately on the player joining. Oh, it's not fully ready. Starter character script run every time the character spawn. By the time the character spawn, a few moments after player join the basic client, the player object is guaranteed to be fully initialized and available. Oh, so character when only it spawn, so the player it just simply run. Yeah. The player object is guaranteed to be fully initialized and available. Let's try to wait, okay? Tux.wait, let's say 2. Okay, I load it. Now it shows up. Oh, no. It shows up because I put it on local character script. But if I put it inside starter player script, now without the tux wait, it should not work because it ran too fast. It already ran right there. So it will never come up. But if I have tux.wait, no, I see. Then okay. Using player edit event best for server. Although you're using local script, the safest practice is connect to player edit. Okay. I see. I just put it on character script to make it simple.
for 100 Robux. Now, thankfully, in Roblox Studio, it allows us to test the purchase, so we don't have to actually spend 100 Robux to buy this item. So we can just simply hit this, and we should be able to buy this just normally. So it says it's been successful, but it doesn't do anything right now because we didn't tell the server to do anything once we bought this thing. So that's what we're going to do right now. And what we're going to do is set up an event for Marketplace service anytime that a Game Pass purchase has been made. And what we're going to do is say Market, and we should be able to buy this just normally. So it says it's been successful, but it doesn't do anything right now because we didn't tell the server to do anything once we bought this thing. So that's what we're going to do right now. And what we're going to do is set up an event for Marketplace Service anytime that a Game Pass purchase has been made. And what we're going to do is say Marketplace Service.
This should be typed in the script, not local script. Why? Why? Wait.
Dot prompt Game Pass purchase anytime that a Game Pass purchase has been made. And what we're going to do is say Marketplace Service dot prompt
From Game Pass purchase finish. Okay, this is pretty simple, I guess. I think I can understand.
Game Pass purchase finished. Oh, geez, that is a long name. Okay, and then we're going to connect this to a function, and this passes back 3 parameters. So the first one is the player instance, the second one is the ID that was passed through, and then finally a boolean to tell us whether this purchase was successful parameters. So the first one is the player instance, the second one is the ID that was passed through, and then finally a boolean to tell us whether this purchase was successful or not. So we'll just say purchase successful.
Player ID and this keys.
So we're going to be using these 3 arguments to tell us which player bought what Game Pass and if it was successful or not. So down here, what we're going to do is make an if statement by saying if purchase successful and ID, so this ID right here, is set equal to our Game Pass ID for test 1. If this is equal to Game Pass ID, then what we're going to do is just simply print out that, let's say, player.name, and we're going to concatenate this by saying has bought a Game Pass.
Something just beat me. Wait. There is a lot of N. Oh man. I don't know. Player purchase Game Pass.
Okay, so now we told the server that if a Game Pass purchase has been made, then we're going to print to the output saying that this player has bought a Game Pass. Ooh, I don't know how I made this mistake, but this should not be in the local script. This should be in the regular script up here. My apologies for getting confused on that, but it should be working now. You don't want to make that mistake. I'm telling you that right now. Okay, so we're going to buy test.
Okay, so why this must be on the server? Because if the problem if it see that okay, it need to read on the server because if it reads on the local, what will happen? What will happen if it reads here? Hmm. Okay, let's just ask Gemini. Very important security distinction. The prom game pass finish event must be connected on the server. Yes, that is true. The script in server critically. Here is why it cannot be relied upon and should not be placed in player server script. Security. The server is trustworthy. Purchase is made Roblox marketplace service communicate to confirm the payment. Definitor from game pass purchase finish is server side event designed to infer the game backend logic. Any code running a local script is running on the player's machine, meaning it can be manipulated by an so if we put speed in local script, then like the speed can be manipulated. Oh, your code to grant 5 item more money was inside client. The exploiter could grant themselves the game pass benefit for free. You must place the event connection in server script service or another secure server side script so that the server is the only one that receive official purchase confirmation. Only after the server receives destructive signals should then it grant this player the item or ability. The correct implementation is inside. Ah, okay, okay.
That's one, and what should happen is that as soon as it's done, then it should print down here that
Wait, what? Nothing comes out. Nothing comes out. Why is that? Do I need to wait? Do I still need to wait? I still need to wait in the starter layer script. Dang, okay. Ooh. Player purchase the game pass.
Brawl Battle has bought a Game Pass, so it should be working basically as intended. And so that is how we can check if a specific player has bought a specific Game Pass. What we're about to do now is check if the player owns a Game Pass if we join to the game. But before we do that, I want to address some things. So I'm currently in the games page of the game that we're working with, and in-game purchases for Game Passes isn't the only way for you to buy Game Passes, because you can also buy Game Passes within the games page of the game that you're playing, going down here into the store tab. So if we click this, we can actually see all of the Game Passes that are available to buy. If you buy one of these Game Passes, then you can join into the game, and the game can check if the player has this Game Pass without having them buy the Game Pass in the game. I want you to be able to understand this and know that there's two ways of players buying Game Passes. It can either be through the games page or it can be in the game directly, and you need to be able to handle both of these cases if that does end up happening. All right, so we're back into the game. What we want to do now is check if the player already owns a Game Pass when they join into the game. So let's go back to our script, and on top of here, we're going to make a player added event. So we're going to say game.players.player added, connect, function, open close parentheses, pass in the player, enter. What we're gonna do is check whether the player owns a specific Game Pass. And here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna say local has Game Pass equals marketplace service, colon, user owns Game Pass a
Oh, it still hurts, man. Uh, this game pass. Play service. User owns Game Pass. Async.
sync. And this takes in two arguments. So you might have noticed that the first argument says user ID. It does not say the player object, but this is specifically saying that it wants the player's user ID. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pass in the player.user ID. And then the second argument is just going to be the Game Pass ID, which was up here. So we're just gonna pass in Game Pass ID. So this should return a Boolean of whether the player owns this Game Pass or not. So let's check if the player does have the Game Pass, then we can just check this by saying print player.name, concatenate this with a string by saying has a Game Pass upon joining. And there we go. This is a really basic way for us to test whether the player has a Game Pass if they join into the game. If we join into this game right now, I'm pretty sure this is not going to fire because we currently don't have this item in our inventory, and buying this through Roblox Studio does not count as adding this into our inventory. So if we buy this Game Pass, then nothing should really change here. I definitely don't see in the output that I own this Game Pass because I'm gonna have to actually go into the game to buy this. So let's check if we don't have the Game Pass, then it should be able to display properly in the output. So it should say that Brawl Battle has a Game Pass upon joining, but in reality we don't because we got rid of it from our inventory. Okay, so this has basically been taken care of. But the thing is, if we have a function that returns something, we don't want to just call this one time and expect a guaranteed response because things can always go wrong with the network. And so we don't want to rely on this happening only once, and something could definitely go wrong, and we want to be able to handle it accordingly, which is why we want to wrap this in a P call. So if you remember how P calls are structured, let's just comment this out really quick and drop a line down here. What we're
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We always need to use pickle when something like when when something always like when you already publish the game and you use service that can only be used when the game is published, you always need to use pickle.
We're going to do is say local success, comma, error message equals pcall function, open close parentheses, enter. And so we're basically just going to take our user owns Game Pass async method and just paste it down here. So this is a safer way of knowing whether the player has a Game Pass or not. So instead of saying down here, if has Game Pass, let's actually comment these out and let's indent this properly. What we can do instead is just simply check if this was not successful. So if not success, then we'll write in an error message. We'll write an error message into the output. So instead of saying print, we'll just simply put an error here, and we're going to pass in our error message. You can use an error or you can use a print statement. It doesn't really matter which one you use, as long as you put an error here, and we're going to pass in our error message. You can use an error or you can use a print statement. It doesn't really matter which one you use, as long as you can see it in the output. Basically, the difference here is that if we use an error message, it's going to print it in red instead of white. So that's the only difference. So yeah, now that we've checked this, if this was not successful, then we're going to print the error message. And we can also return this too, so that we don't want this to do any other weird things down here if it doesn't go well. Oh, and there's one thing we forgot to do, and that is incorporate the has Game Pass boolean. The reason we need to do this is because this can be successful, but it could say that the player does not have the Game Pass or the player does have the Game Pass, which is why we need to have the success variable, but also have a has Game Pass variable at the same time, so that we can make the script do what it needs to do if the player actually does have the Game Pass. So we're just gonna drop a line down here, say local has Game Pass equals false, and let's throw it down here by saying
Wait. Local has Game Pass. False, right?
has Game Pass equals whatever this is going to give back to us. And so if this is not successful, then throw an error message, and we can say down here again, if has Game Pass then do whatever we need to do down here. So we actually did need this all along. So this is the secure way of adding P calls to our Game Passes when we implement them inside of our scripts. All right, now we're about to do something interesting, which is giving the player a tool if they own a certain Game Pass. Whether they join into the game after buying a Game Pass, or if they have bought the Game Pass in the game, we want to be able to give this tool to the player and keep it on them, even if they reset their character. So what tool are we going to use? We can basically just go to the toolbox and find whatever tool that we're going to use. Maybe we can use that diamond sword that I showed you in the beginning of the video.
What is that?
So let's just go to models and search up sword. And I think it should be right here. Yeah, Minecraft Diamond Sword. Let's just take this, hit OK. So we're going to take our Minecraft Diamond Sword. We're going to move this inside of server storage so that we can use this to put it inside of the player's backpack if they do own the Game Pass. We're also going to rename this to, let's just say Diamond Sword with no spaces, just to make it simple.
Devil Sword.
Okay, so now that we have that taken care of, let's go back to our script. And what we want to do first is check if the player has successfully bought this Game Pass so that we can actually give the tool to the player once they buy the Game Pass. So first thing we're going to do is locate our Diamond Sword. We're going
Okay. I'll do a review
to say
later.
local sword equals game dot server storage colon find first child open and close parentheses, diamond sword. And if the sword does exist, because there's a chance that it might not, then we're going to drop a line down here, and then we're going to create a clone of the sword and then put it inside of the player's backpack. So what we're gonna do is say local cloned sword equals sword colon clone open close parentheses, and then we're gonna set the parent of the cloned sword dot parent equals our player backpack. Okay, so now we're going to be able to give the player this sword into their backpack once they buy the Game Pass. However, we're not done here, because let me show you what happens if we buy this Game Pass right now. If we decide to buy Test 1 right now, then we hit OK. What should happen is in the output, it says our diamond sword is in our backpack. Sweet. But what happens if we reset our character? If we reset our character, then our item is gone. We can't use it anymore. Where did our item go? If tools are in a player's backpack, that doesn't mean that it's going to stay in the player's backpack. We have to use what's known as starter gear. If you remember from my tools video way back earlier in the series, we use starter gear to basically say that if whatever tool's in here, it's going to be cloned into the player's backpack every single time they reset a character. So not only do we have to add the sword to the player's backpack,
Mm.
but we also have to add it to the player's starter gear as well, so that it'll save whenever the player resets their character. So here's what we're gonna do. We're first going to check if the player does not have the sword inside of starter gear, and then if they don't, then we're gonna add this to their starter gear. So we're going to make a simple if statement. We're gonna say if not player dot starter gear colon find first child.
That make a lot of sense, man. So it means later. If player
And we're not trying to look for this sword instance. We're trying to look for a name of the sword that resembles it. So we're just gonna say sword dot name. So if you were to imagine this,
Oh, yeah. That's true. I'm trying to find the.
we have our starter gear and we open it up. We want to see if there is a tool that's called the sword, which is the diamond sword. So if they don't have it, so then what we're gonna do is make another sword. We're gonna clone it again and then put it inside of the player starter gear. So we can just copy this code right here and then paste it in here.
Wait, I don't think this is a good way to write. Local sword equals game server storage convert devil sword. Yeah, if the sword exists, then put it in the backpack.
But this time we're gonna set the parent of this to be starter gear. So now this should work if we join into the game, buy the Game Pass, and then reset our.
Hmm, isn't this like supposed to be handled?
Our character. We should be able to keep it once we reset our character. So let's buy the Game Pass. Let's hit OK. Not only will this be added to our backpack, but this will also be added to our starter gear as well.
Console. After this. Um, if player dot starter get if not
Once we reset our character. So now this should work if we join into the game.
to make it so
buy the game pass, and then reset to our starter gear as well. And if we reset our character,
it's not a tool, right? What the hell is it even that even? Oh, sorry, that back. Make a tool here, and the handle to be this. Tool, right? Do that. Oh, that's why this is on the back. Okay. Oh, okay, okay, that's neat.
then what should happen is once we go back in, then we should still have our diamond sword in our backpack. Okay, but this was dealt only if the player bought the game pass in the game. But we also want to check if the player who previously bought this game pass before joining the game in the stores page, like I showed you earlier, joins the game and checks whether the player has the game pass or not. We want to do the same thing up here that we did down here, except that this is going to be if the player joins into the game for the first time. And we basically have the initial setup here done already. If the player does have this game pass, then they have this game pass. So what we can do down here is just simply copy what we already had down here and just paste it into here. So it pretty much does the exact same thing as it did before. But this is a lot of copied code. So what we could do is create a function that helps us with this. We could just say local function give sword open and close.
Okay, remember, okay, when you want to make a function, you can make a module script. So I can make a module script that handle all the game passes. And where do I put the module script? I forgot. Module script. I forgot, man. So I just need to remember where do I put module scripts. Dang, I'm afraid that an N will like go in. If module script contains sensitive data or function that should never be seen by the client, place it here. Put it in server script service. By devil sword equals to emphasis module. There is a lot of these too. I can like the Sakis error message, right? Yeah, rescue process. By those will sort as. Hey. Requested model experience error experience. Require return game passes. Wait, something is wrong. It returned this. It returned this. So now at the game passes, This module look like this. You're trying to assign a function. You should assign your function directly to a key in game passage, which is your return. Corrected module script, game passage module. Oh, I write it wrong. Oh, okay. Gradables. You should work. Yes.
Let's see that. And all
Yeah.
we need to do is just pass in the player in this function. So we can just copy this. So we can just cut this, paste it into here, and then we can just call give sword by passing in the player argument. So we can just pass in the player here, and then we can also just copy this and pass it into here as well. Give sword, pass in the player. All right, and there we go. This is how we give a tool to a player if they own a Game Pass, or do anything for that matter if a player does own a Game Pass. So I'm glad I was able to show you a practical use case of using a Game Pass. So for this last part of the video, I want to show you how we can add data stores to store purchase history information of the player if they decide to buy game passes within the game. So let's say I did buy the game pass in the game. What if we wanted a way to store that information so that we can retrieve it back to let us know that, oh yeah, this player did buy a certain game pass during this specific time? We can do that using data stores. And I just find this to be very helpful if, let's say, a player decides to buy game pass, but then there were some issues with granting whatever privileges the game pass was supposed to give to the player, but it just ended up not working. So then that player decides to go to the creator being like, hey, the game pass does not work. Do you think you can give me a refund, or maybe check this out and see whether you can fix this in your game? One way for you to tell if this player does have the game pass is by looking at their purchase history data store. So that's essentially what I'm going to be showing you how to do for this last part. Now, things will get a little complicated, and there is one caveat to this, is that this will not work if the player bought the game pass on the games page before joining into the game. Now it could work, but it just adds more complication to the whole thing. You're gonna have to check if the player has bought this for the first time when they join the game, and then do all these other sorts of things with data store switching. It gets pretty complicated. So what I'm gonna show you is how to store data of a purchase transaction if a player buys a game pass in the game. So what we're gonna do is go to our script, and at the very top, we're going to get access to our data store service, which we're just gonna say local data store.
From service. Oh, I really like this way of writing. It's really fast, man.
Service equals game get service data store service, and we want to use a data store to store all this information. We can call this purchase history, and we're gonna set this equal to data store service.
When do I need to use like big letter and small letter, man? Like the important one, I use the big one, no?
Colon get data store. We're just going to be using a normal data store. We're not going to be using an order data store or anything like that. And this is just simply going to be called purchase history. Okay, now I want you to understand how this is going to be using a normal data store. We're not going to be using an order data store.
Data store, data store. Get data store to get or create data from. Oh, okay. Set async is to set a value inside of it. Okay. Get data store to get or create from Roblox.
Or anything like that. And this is just simply going to be called purchase history. Okay, now I want you to understand data store. We're just going to be using a normal data store. We're not going to be using an order data store or anything like that. And this is just simply going to be called purchase history. Okay, now I want you to understand how this purchase history data store will be structured. I want you to imagine it like this. If, let's say, the player decided to buy the Game Pass, then we want to process information about that Game Pass purchase to have it be sent to a purchase history. So let's say we wanted to have information about when the purchase was made, what the Game Pass name is, how much it costs in Robux, and just things like that. We want to store that information in a table and then have that as one value inside of the data store. So I want you to imagine this as if it was a table full of tables with different transactions in different purchase histories within this one data store. I think it'll make more sense once I show you what this looks like when we add this in. But essentially what we're going to do is go down to our script, and this is going to happen if we buy the Game Pass within the game. What we're going to do is drop 2 lines, and I'm just going to make some comments to expand our understanding of what we're doing here. So the first thing we're going to do is create our receipt, basically our table full of information based on the item that we just bought. The second thing we're going to do is get a player's purchase history data so that we can take the player's already existing purchase history and add our receipt onto it. And then finally, we're going to add our receipt to the purchase history data. So this is how it's going to be broken down, and now we're going to go through each step. So we're first going to create our receipt, and this is going to be a table essentially. So it's going to be a table full of information that we might want to see if a player decides to buy Game Pass. So right now I'm thinking of 4 things we could potentially add into here. So the first one would be the name, the second one would be the ID, the third one would be the date, and the fourth one would be the price of that Game Pass. So we would just say price down here. And as you know, this is how we structure our tables. It's separated by commas or semicolons if you choose to do that as well. I'm just going to do commas. And these are all going to be set equal to a certain value. So the name, in this case, we're just going to call this Diamond Sword. And for the ID, we're going to set this equal to the ID that was passed into here when we bought the Game Pass. And then we're going to skip date for right now, but for price, we're just going to say 100 because that's how much the Game Pass was. And for this date into here when we bought the Game Pass. And then we're going to skip date for right now, but for price, we're just going to say 100 because that's how much the Game Pass was. And for this date, now this might be a little confusing because I never taught you how time is displayed inside of Roblox, but I just want you to follow what I do for right now. So what we're going to do is set this equal to os.time, open and close parentheses. We're going to use quotations and then say %, lowercase x. Don't worry about what this means right now. We're going to set this equal to os.time, open and close parentheses. We're going to use quotations and then say %, lowercase x. Don't worry about what this means right now. I'm going to
%x in local computer.
go over this in a future video, but this essentially gives us the date of when the player has bought this Game Pass. So we now have a receipt. What we need to do now is get the player's purchase history that's already existed. We're going to say local success data equals pcall function, open and close parentheses, enter. We're going to return
Oh, we need to get player. Oh, and call function. So what we need to do? We need to get the data, right? Get async, no? Data store. Get async. Wait, what? We get async, no? Data store service.
purchase history :
Oh, not DSS. I'm stupid. It's purchase history, yeah.
get async, because that's what we're going to try and retrieve and store it into data. We're simply just going to pass in the string of player.user ID. And so let's check if this was not successful. So if this was not successful, then what we're going to do is throw in an error message saying that we failed to fetch purchase history. And we're also just going to return this because we don't want to add this to our data store if we were not able to retrieve the data store in the first place. Okay, but let's say if the data did fail. Let's say if the player doesn't have any data to begin with, then what we're going to do is we're basically just going to set data to an empty table. So we're just going to say if data equals nil, then we're going to set data equal to an empty table. The reason, again, we are doing this is because the player this could potentially be the first purchase that the player's ever done. And if it is the case, then we're going to set data equal to an empty table so that we can add a receipt to the table and then set that to the player purchase, open and close parentheses. So we can add our receipt to our data table. So we're just simply going to use the table function called table.insert, open and close parentheses. So in our data table receipt to our data table. So we're just simply going to use the table function called and then set that to the player purchase history. Okay, and so now we can add our receipt to our data table. So we're just simply going to use the table function called table.insert, open and close parentheses. So in our data table, we're going to add our receipt table that was up here. So basically taking this
Table is data.
receipt transaction and put it inside of our data table so that we can take this data table and set it to the player's transaction history. And so now down here, what we're going to do is say local success, comma, error message, just in case it does fail. We're going to set this equal to pcall function, open and close parentheses, enter. We're going to simply say
Oh. So when we want to like it's really simple. When we want to get the data, right? We get the data. We have the data. But if we want to set something, we didn't get anything, right? We're not trying to get anything. So we didn't return. We just do like purchase history dot set async. Yeah, that's it. Player user ID data. Like we want to insert the data into
and then we're going to pass in our data table. And finally, let's do one more check to see if this was not successful. If not success, then error, and we're going to pass in our error message that we have up here. Okay, this is our entire script right here. If not success, then error, and we're going to pass in our error message that we have up here. Okay, this is our entire script right here. I'm going to show you what this looks like within the game, and then we're going to do one quick recap of everything that we coded up until this point. Okay, now one quick thing we can do is print out our results in the output so that we can see our data in our purchase history for the specific player. So what we're going to do is just simply say up here with our player add event is go down here and say local data equals purchase history colon get async, and then
the player has Game Pass.
pass in the player.user ID. Then what we're going to do is check if that data actually does exist. Then we're going to loop through all the
I'll use Pico.
entries within each table. So we're going to say for I, comma, receipt in I pairs, open and close parentheses, data, all the entries within each table. So we're going to say for I, comma, receipt in I pairs, open and close parentheses, data, and we're using I pairs because we want to go through each one sequentially. So we're gonna say do, and then we're gonna use another for loop because as you know, data is one big table that consists of multiple tables resembling each transaction. So what we're gonna do is say for key, that's what we're gonna call it, comma value in pairs, and we're going to pass in our receipt table. Do print, we're going to print out the key and the value. So this is essentially how we're going to print out all of our data that's in the purchase history so that we can see it in the output. So this is basically how our code is going to be structured. Oh, okay, so there's actually a typo here with our receipt table. So instead of os.time, it's actually os.date. I got the function messed up. Okay, so now up until this point, we should be able to see this work as expected. So if we go into the game, we should basically see nothing in the output because we didn't buy anything yet. But if we decide to buy this item right here, then what should happen is in the output, it should say Brawl Battle has bought a game pass, but nothing is being printed out right now. So if we stop the game and then join back into the game, what we should see now in the output is our purchase history being displayed. So as you can see, for
Wait, I already published this to the. Wait, didn't I already publish this? No? Oh, I haven't published this yet? Then I'll make this day 18 then. It's day 17, but it's day 18 now. What? What? Wait, what? Didn't I already publish this? Like that my experience is there. Why it's day 18 now? The day 17 is not online. Uh man, I don't it's fine. It's fine. So I need to go to game settings and then mission. No, I mean security, enable, save. Yeah. Oh, there is also monetization. Oh, this is to make badges. Okay. Now I don't have anything. I got a lot of successfully bought game passes. Okay. Now it doesn't have anything yet, but now I already have it, right? I already post it. I didn't print anything.
our first entry, it says our ID of the item, then it's going to say that our purchase bought a game pass, but nothing's being printed out right now. So if we stop the game and then join back into the game, what we should see now in the output is our purchase history being displayed. So as you can see, for our first entry, it says our ID of the item, then it's
Wait, I already buy, but okay. Let's recap. Okay. So this game pass module only give Devil Sword. Simple. Just so this is the game pass module, and then if the player join, then we need to make the game pass to false first. So we check user own game pass. Like check if user already own. If not success, then we return the error message. Yeah, this doesn't do anything. But if has game pass is true, then we print player has game pass. Wait, player doesn't have the game pass yet. Right?
should say print. We're going to print out the key.
Wait, I cannot put it here just because like uh it will not I don't have the game pass yet. So I need to print it outside. I see. Now it should work. Now it should work. Yeah, this is it. This is it. I can see the date, can see the ID. Okay, that's cool.
Key. Our code is function messed up. Anything yet? But of the game and then join back into the first entry, it says, or you can do this again by buying this and then hitting OK, and then we should be able to leave the game and then join back again to see this happen in the output. Now, typically, if this was an actual game, you should only be able to see this one time. So ideally, this would be one Game Pass, and then this would be a whole another Game Pass right here, because it's not possible for you to buy the same Game Pass within a game unless you delete that item and put it back into the game. Okay, that was a lot to take in, but I really hope that this gave you insight into more of what you can do with Game Passes. Is saving Game Pass transactions necessary? I would say in some instances they are, but
I see, I understand.
you can definitely get away with not doing this if you don't want to. But this is something I wanted to address in this video because I know that some people might find this helpful, especially if you're following along with this course. And I hope everything we've done in this tutorial makes sense to you. If you want to know more about how data stores work, since that's a very prevalent thing we use in this video, then I encourage you to watch my data stores video that I will have a link for you right here. But with that being said, I hope you found this video to be helpful, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care. Oh my god, I want to.
Okay, guys, I'm done. I'm done. It's pretty simple. Game Pass purchase finish. Wait. Oh, oh, this is an event. Okay. If the purchase is finished, if the purchase, we see what is finished, right? The what is finished, the one that is finished is the Devil's Sword one. We have the player, we have the ID, we just we have it, if it's success or not. Oh, if it doesn't succeed, then yeah, we use pickle for everything. I think I roughly understand. This one is for cannot. Oh, I oh, there's so much thing. I need to go, guys. So let's wrap this as let's wrap this fast. So when we buy here, it didn't go to our inventory because it is purchased inside the studio, so it doesn't count. But it counts on the it. We make our own receipt, right? We make this on our own, and this is pretty simple. Like we can make anything with this, and I can see a lot of use for the module script. And also, we always use pickle. Like one of my friend says that we need to know profile store service. I think that is like really good. I don't know what that is yet, but I will use it in the future because I know it's important. But for now, by using data store service, we need to use pickle. I guess like profile store service will not use pickle because it's already more secure. I don't know because I read it in Gemini that profile store service is not from Roblox. It's like from people make it, so it will be easier to do it. And uh, we use pickle, and then we always use this not success or success thing. I already know that return is for the get async. If we get something, we need to return the data. But if we don't get anything or we just want to set something, we see the error message. Everything is very simple. Okay, so that's it, man. I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be like a new day, a fun day. I I really enjoy learning, right? I really want to be a pro. Oh, I actually like learn this one chapter for like quite a long time because there is a lot of to take in. But roughly this is pretty simple. I can see like everything just makes sense. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.